Hello and welcome back to the third rail. We have a new addition to the collection this week. I just received this class 003 of the Deutsche Bundesbahn, that's the German Federal Railways, and I thought we should have a first look at it together. First, let's have a quick model overview. This is model number 3085, a model that remained on the Märklin program for over 30 years. The first version was introduced in the 1973 edition of the Märklin catalogue. It was followed by version 2 in 1974 with minor adjustments consisting in a correction of the inscriptions on the tender. This version remained on sale until 1980. In 1981, a third version was released with die-cast crossheads on the valve gear. In 1992, Märklin discontinued the Primex brand it had used to sell entry-level products in supermarkets and department stores. Entry-level products would now be sold under the hobby range that would be branded as a Märklin product. Our 3085 was included in this new range at that time. Version 4 appeared in 1993, still in the hobby range, but this time it was a tooling change. This version was based on the new 3395. Its running number is different and the wheels are burnished. This version remained in production until 2003. I thought it was worth mentioning that the original tooling of the 3085 was also used for sets 3100 and 3600, which were special one-year-only series produced for the 750 years of Berlin in 1987. The Class 03 in these sets was fitted with large Wagner-type wind deflectors and painted in a photographic livery. I presented one of those sets previously on the channel. See links at the top right-hand corner of your player now. On to a few vital statistics. I have acquired version 3 of the 3085. The model measures 27.7 cm buffer to buffer. The boiler and chassis are made of metal and the tender of plastic. The model is equipped with a mechanical reverser located in the tender in this model. It controls a 3-pole motor driving 3 axles equipped with 2 traction tires. The model is fitted with electric headlights which are non-directional, so they're always on, and a relax coupling is fitted to the 4-axle tender. Let's have a quick high-level overview of the prototype for context. Our model represents an express passenger locomotive of the Deutsche Bundesbahn, the Baureihe, so class 003. This class of locomotives belongs to the family of unified designed locomotives produced for the Deutsche Reichsbahn in the 1920s and 1930s. In 1925, the BR-01, a heavy express passenger locomotive, was made available to the various railway directions of the Deutsche Reichsbahn. The BR-01 had a 20-ton axle load. This figure had been chosen during the development of the class, in line with network capacity upgrade work that was underway at the time. Unfortunately, the upgrade work didn't progress as fast as expected, preventing the use of the BR-01 on many parts of the network. As a result, very few units were taken into service in the years following its introduction. Work started on our prototype, the BR-03, at that time. The BR-03 is simply a lighter version of the BR-01 with which it shares most of its components. The weight reduction was achieved through the use of a smaller boiler and cylinders, as well as a thinner frame. 298 units of the class were produced between 1930 and 1937. The first 162 units produced until 1934 could reach speeds of 120 km an hour. The remaining units were fitted with larger leading wheels and could reach a maximum speed of 130 km an hour. 297 units survived the Second World War. 30 were transferred to the Soviet Union, 36 remained in Poland. The remaining units were located in Germany. In 1949, 145 units were assigned to the Deutsche Bundesbahn and 86 to the Deutsche Reichsbahn in the east of Germany. The Soviet units were all withdrawn by 1955. The Polish units remained in service as class number PM2 until the late 1970s. The Deutsche Bundesbahn units received new Witte-type wind deflectors and were assigned to depots across Germany. Their slow withdrawal from service started in the 1960s. By 1968, only 45 units remained. These units were given a new class number, the 003, as part of the rollout of a new computer-based numbering scheme underway at the Deutsche Bundesbahn. The last units were withdrawn in 1972. In East Germany, only 75 out of the 86 original units were usable. These remained in service at the Deutsche Reichsbahn well into the 1980s. By 1970, only 2 additional units had been decommissioned. Starting in 1969, 52 units underwent major refurbishment work involving the replacement of their boilers and preheaters. These units were often referred to as Ricolocks. The last BR-03 were withdrawn from service in 1983. Now let's have a quick look at the career of our prototype. It entered service in 1934 under running number 03-160. Its maximal speed was 120 km an hour. In 1945, it was taken over by the Allied railway authorities, being assigned first to the Frankfurt am Main depot, then to Speyer. It remained in service in the region until its withdrawal. In 1949, the locomotive was transferred to the new Deutsche Bundesbahn. In 1968, the locomotive was given a new class number as part of the computerization program. The new class number was 003-160-9. The locomotive was finally withdrawn from service in 1970 in Ulm, and it was dismantled a year later in 1971. Today, 10 units remain in preservation, of which only 1 is currently operational. This completes the high-level overview of the prototype. I've left credits and links to useful information in the video description down below. Let's have a look at my 3085 now. This is a version 3. This locomotive has a special meaning for me as it was my first Märklin locomotive. I was given it as a Christmas present in 1982. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long in my young hands. Ever since I started the collection, I have been looking for an example that looked just as mine did before I started destroying it. This took a few years. So let's have a look. The model was sold to me as in very good condition and fully serviced. Yeah, right. It arrived in its original box. The box is in excellent condition. Model number labels are correct, with no tears or marks to speak of. Good start. Let's have a look inside now. We have the original instructions, another plus. Right, let's take the model out of its tray. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Yes, not bad. Let me grab a presentation rail and we'll have a closer look. I must say that my first impression is that it looks exactly as I remembered mine. Well, nearly. The smoke deflectors are straighter. Mine got crushed within a few days. Let's have a look around. paint and details are in very good condition by the looks of it. I cannot see any broken pieces anywhere. The valve gear looks intact. Yes, very good indeed. There's a tiny spot of rust on one of the ladders on the tender. My original one didn't age enough to get to that stage. If we look at the boiler, everything is there with very nice detailing of the pipework. It might need a gentle clean. Apart from that, I think I have found what I was looking for. Very nice. Now let's see how the model behaves on the track and what the seller meant by fully serviced. We've moved to the layout and I'm going to rail the engine now. That's it, we're done. Let me get you a bit closer. There we go. Now let's try a bit of power. Nothing. Dead. Let me try and push the loco a bit. Still nothing, and we have a short. That is not a good start. I need to have a look inside. Let's start with a quick inspection of the chassis. There everything looks good, the pickup shoe is in excellent condition, nothing looks out of place. So I'm going to start by looking at the reverser, which could be stuck, although it's unlikely considering I didn't hear any noise when I applied power. Never mind, we'll check anyway. The tender housing is simply clipped on. It comes off with a very gentle pressure with the tip of a screwdriver. We'll take the weights out of the way. The reverser looks good, but its commutator is stuck in a central position. It should be pointing to one of its sides, but the wiring is okay. So I'll wiggle the reverser and I'll try the loco on the track. Still nothing. So I need to have a look at the front. I'll take the body off. It's the usual screw in the center of the chassis. The wheels are moving freely, so does the motor. I put the chassis back on the track like that. Everything works now. Bizarre. Okay, the reason was the light fixture. It was dislodged and was pressing the smoke generator contact against the body of the locomotive, generating a short. Mystery solved. I'll do a quick service while I'm here, and we are now ready for take 2. There we go, reverser first. Cool. Let's try some power. Forwards, backwards. We are operational. Let's send the locomotive out for a spin on the ground level loop. It's negotiating the first braking section okay. First turnout at the station is fine. The permanent braking section after that is fine too. And the next 2 turnouts are fine as well. Doesn't it look stunning? Let's have another go. Let's send it for another round. Yes, very nice. Fine, I'm going to give the locomotive a 10-minute run-in. That gives us enough time to have a look at what matching rolling stock was available in the Märklin program in the 1980s. Märklin gave us a recommendation in the 1981 catalogue. It suggested cars 4026, 4051, 4052, 4053 and 4054. This would have been a rather luxurious experience if we compare that to what was more likely pulled by this locomotive between 1968 and 1972. We have the old-style Reichsbahn coaches, which were released in 1981, the 4139 and 4140. And then later in the 1980s, Märklin released some Umbauwagen under reference 4131, 4132 and 4133. I have all of them in the collection, but as I haven't used the coaches recommended in the 1981 catalogue, I decided to take some of these out. I'll spare you the detailed view this time. These coaches are known to most, I think. Isn't this consist nice looking going over the bridge? My enjoyment was short-lived though. Soon after, one of the traction tires gave up. I had to swap both of them out. Then a series of uncouplings followed, so I had to adjust a few couplings too. I got there in the end and was able to sit back and relax watching this beautiful loco going around the layout with ease despite the additional pickup shoes fitted to all coaches. The transformer is set at 125. Let's watch this train for a few minutes. Beautiful! I'd like to thank you very much for watching and for all the subscriptions, likes and comments you are giving me. These are very rewarding and keep me going. They are also a good way to help the channel in reaching a wider audience. Thank you very much again for this. Bye for now!